tutarudi back file tax. I want to understand this, and I also want the viewers to understand this. Now that you're filing tax for this year, 2021, June 30th, what has KRA done to facilitate this new technological deployment? What has the KRA done to facilitate kuweka hiyo mikakati ya kulipa hii ushuru ya 2021?
So ushuru yale the return we are filing in 2021 ni ya 2020. Okay. So na 2020 was a special year, obviously we all know, because of COVID. So you find there are two different rates. Yeah. Kuna pahali we were paying taxes at 30% and at some point we were paying at 25%. So what KRA has done is we have enhanced our iTax system, meaning it's able to capture the effects or what happened in the year. So it will not be a problem. All you need to do is file, and you find that now we are offering forums where we are training our taxpayers on how to file the 2020 return. We have a step-by-step guide on our website, and also again we mentioned the M-Service app, the one that you can download on Google Play and also file your returns through that. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. And in the case of now that we had the pandemic running us from the year 2020, and actually business were picking up when we came into January 2021. Business were actually picking up, individuals and even the corporate world. Everything was actually looking like there was hope. But then again, we were hit with a third wave. And still taxes are taxes we have to pay. So as KRA, what are you doing to cushion the normal mwananchi, the individual person, the corporate world? What have you done to cushion these people in terms of tax return, in terms of the tax rate, in terms of the VAT?
So beginning January 2021, the rates of taxes reverted to a different rates. So the COVID incentive that we had was revoked, and we had new tax rates which are still in force as of now. So KRA is an agent that collects tax on behalf of the government based on the regulations that we have been given. So as of now, that's what we are using. But the beauty of taxes is that it's based on your income. So if your income reduces, then your taxes are also going to reflect that. So for example, if you're paying your taxes on a monthly basis, for example for business income, and let's say this month you've not generated any income, then you can see there's not tax based on that. If your income is 100,000, then you can see that your tax is going to be 1% of 100,000. So that's the tax system itself is based on your income. The more income that you earn, the more taxes that you pay. The less income, the less taxes that you now end up paying. So that, I think, cushions the business person. Yeah.
I understand that there are measures that KRA takes, especially when someone has refused completely. This one, usi defaulter, usijui hata ataitwa nini, but amekataa kabisa kulipa pesa ya ushuru, and yet they have the money. And even if you go to their accounts, it's actually reflecting that they have money, they've been transacting. So what would KRA do in this case?
So we have a division under the Domestic Taxes Department involved in debt collection, and they classify their debts. They classify their debts as just maybe a taxpayer who is unable to pay, who we can facilitate. And also, we have cases where we classify debt as difficult. This is when the taxpayer has refused to pay. When we classify a debt as difficult, we now go to other measures, such as agency notices, freezing of accounts, and maybe even auction, if it gets to that. So it's important that you engage KRA, and if you're unable to pay, communicate the same, be put on a payment plan that will suit you. And in case now you're classified as difficult, you can see that it gets very complicated for the taxpayer.
In the case of someone who gets their pension, what would you advise them in terms of the method of paying, the mode of payment? Because are they supposed to pay their taxes in lump sum? First of all, are they supposed to even pay their taxes? Someone who is on pension,
So at the point of retirement, you find that most people are going to receive a lump sum amount. That lump sum amount is going to be taxed, and we have the different rates of tax. This tax will be deducted by the person making the payment to you. Also, if you're earning a monthly pension, it will also be subject to tax, and the person or the entity that is making the payments to you is going to deduct that tax and remit on your behalf. Yeah.
On this rare occasion that someone was remitting their tax and this succumbed to maybe the COVID-19 as we're seeing it, would they still be asked to pay the tax, keeping in mind that maybe they were not even employed, they were running a business, but the business is still under their name and still running? Will KRA still ask them to remit their tax?
So in case of death, then you find that there are processes. For example, you report the death, you get a death certificate, and that death certificate is the same one that you're going to use to come now to KRA and report that this person has passed on, and so we will register an estate of the deceased with an administrator who will now account for the taxes from the business. So that process is there, but remember to follow the due process. Register the death, get the death certificate, then now an administrator who will now be remitting the taxes on behalf of the estate.
Nataka unieleze, in this case, nimezaliwa Kenya, nimeweza kupata hii KRA PIN, nimekuwa nikilipa ushuru, ikafika wakati nimeenda ng'ambo kufanya kazi for just a visit, nikakwama huko. Wakati nitarudi ama wakati niko kule, bado naweza kuwa nachajiwa tax as a Kenyan citizen. Na pia ni wakati nitarudi Kenya, nitakuwa bado niko na tax nafaa kulipa. Am I supposed to be penalized?
Okay, so even if you move abroad, remember you have a PIN number. So again, you have to file your return on or before the 10th of June of every year. So if you're generating any income from Kenya, because you can move outside, but then you have some rental property that is giving you some income, you need to declare the same and pay your taxes. So again, if you don't have any taxable income in Kenya, then now you file your return as appropriate. So even somebody who is in a foreign country but they have a Kenyan PIN, they need to file their returns. And when they come back, they're just able to continue with the same PIN. So the PIN number that you had at the beginning is also the PIN number that you're going to have when you come back.
Na niulize, this individual as wamerudi Kenya, anaweza kuwa wakati yako kule ng'ambo anaweza file a new return because actually you don't know their income, what they are doing there, maybe.
If it's accurate, you see, a return, we have said, is your communication with KRA. No, unaambia KRA, hii mwaka sijatengeneza income taxable. Na kama umekuwa majuu and you have not generated any taxable income in Kenya, then it's within your right to declare the same by filing the new return, as long as your return is an accurate reflection of what has happened in that year of income.
Okay. And in the sense of that, I have a bank account in Kenya, and I usually send money from abroad to my account in Kenya. Kuna uwezekano that KRA might be in a know-how of my accounts, in such that I'm supposed to remit my taxes?
The moment you engage in the economy, either via businesses, you might even be offering a consultancy when you're in that country, and you're generating taxable income from Kenya, you're supposed to pay taxes on the same. And we also have issues of resident. So you get there is a resident person, they're supposed to pay taxes on their global income. Global means both your foreign income and your local income. A resident person is a person who has a permanent establishment in Kenya and has been in that place for any time in that year of income, or has been in Kenya for 183 days or maybe 122 days as an average with 2 prior years. So we look at many factors to determine how you're supposed to pay your taxes. So even if you're a foreign person, note that there can be instances where you pay taxes on your global income, especially where Kenya and that country does not have a double tax agreement. So I know that might be a bit complicated for most people, but because of the nature of the way you are engaging as a person, you are now not just generating income from Kenya, you're also generating income in another jurisdiction. So you find that these countries have agreements so that people cannot be taxed on the same income twice. Where that agreement is absent, then you're going to pay the full tax, whether or not you've paid in the other jurisdiction.
So in the case of that, I have not actually filed for my tax return since I left. When I come back, inanichukua pale niliachia. I'm supposed to pay from where I stopped, ama inanibidi nilipe the penalty ndio niendelee, ama what happens?
You will start where you stopped. So yeah, because every year there's a return that is required, and you find that when you register, you find that there is an effective date of registration. For example, if you register today, which is May, then there's a return that is expected next year. That is your effective date of registration. Every year after that, we're going to expect a return. So even when you come back, the gaps are still there, and you will need to fill them before you can now continue. And because our identifier as KRA is your ID number, you cannot get a new PIN number. You still have to continue with the original PIN number that you had in the beginning.
And in the case of someone who has a dual citizenship and maybe an alien who doesn't have the Kenya, the normal ID, what happens?
So we have registration for aliens. The requirements are on our website. So if you have an alien ID, you have a passport, you want to engage in business, you have to get permissions, of course, from the relevant bodies, and then register on iTax after providing the documents that are needed of you. So we have a taxpayer's charter. This is a document that has been made for a taxpayer. It spells out the services that we offer. For example, this registration for alien, what do we need from you? If you are a foreigner and you want to do business in Kenya, what do we need from you and how long it's going to take for you to be registered? So download the taxpayer's charter, go through it and see the services you need, the documents that are needed from you, and the timeline it's going to take.
I want to ask, how is KRA widening the tax bracket to ensure that the local mwananchi is actually not burdened?
So KRA has adopted many strategies to widen the tax bracket. One of the key things is introduction of turnover tax. Turnover tax is a mode of accounting for business income that is tailor-made for the local SME who is generating taxable income of between 1 million and 50 million Kenya shillings per annum. And the tax is at 1% of their gross sales on a monthly basis. This is a simplified way of accounting for your business income, and it suits the common business person in Kenya. We also have other strategies such as taxing the online platforms, where we find the introduction of the digital service tax, which now has widened the tax has widened the tax base, ensuring that everybody who is generating taxable income in Kenya gets to pay something.
Now that we've talked about how KRA has ensured the local mwananchi is not feeling the pinch, I have come to understand that KRA has put a new development on taxing YouTubers and anyone running a social media account. Can you kindly enlighten us on that?
We can't just say social media accounts. So it's income that is generated on digital platforms. So that's wide, and it involves both foreign companies and local entities, and also individuals generating income from online platforms. So this is known as a digital service tax, and as the name suggests, it is a tax on income generated from services offered on an online platform. So you find for the foreign companies, we know many of them are generating income from Kenya.
Interesting. Tell me more about online tax.
Okay, so you find that due to COVID and even development of the country, many organizations have moved to online platforms. So we've gone digital, and taxes have to follow the money. The money right now is on the digital platforms. So you find that many providers of services, both foreign and local, They provide online, they earn their income by providing services on online platforms, and so it's only fair that they pay taxes on that income. From 1st of January 2021, a tax known as Digital Service Tax was introduced, and it's at 1.5% of the gross transactional value. For the foreign entities, this will be a final tax. For the foreign entities with a permanent establishment or the resident entities, then the tax paid will be used to reduce their final tax liability. This avoids issues of double taxation. What the law is trying to do is capture the online activity. There are many entities that we know of. We know that learning has taken place on online platforms, and those platforms are earning a fee. That fee that they earn is subject to tax. But we need to differentiate this from maybe where we have some local organizations that provide a platform for people to sell their wares. They sell, without mentioning names, they give you a platform, you sell your computers, your accessories and such. The fee you pay to this entity is the one that is subject to DST. You as a business person selling your goods on this platform are not any different from any other business. So you continue accounting for your taxes the way you are accounting for the same. And also we find that we have Instagrammers, we have YouTubers, people who have monetized their YouTube accounts. So they are generating taxable income. And in all fairness, they should be paying their taxes on this income.
Can I ask, as they're paying this, as they're doing their online businesses, are these individuals meant to file their tax return every month, or is it per individual? Once I do a transaction, is the tax return per transaction or per the monthly income?
For the entity, the organization providing the platform, they have to register for this DST tax and file and pay their taxes on a monthly basis. For the other persons, for example, if you have provided these services and some DST has been deducted from your income, then you still need to file a return annually, just like any other taxpayer. Only that now we have some tax already paid, which you're going to use to reduce your final tax liability because you're in a business. So you have generated income in the year, you have incurred expenditure, you get your taxable profit, apply the rates of tax, find your tax due, but some tax has been deducted from you in the year. So your final tax liability will be less what has been deducted.
And in this case that I have like five Facebook pages, 2 Instagram pages, and like maybe I'm a YouTuber, would I still be charged the same amount monthly or per each online business?
So you see now, it will be the person, the entity that is making this payment to you that will deduct this tax, you get? So it might be from different providers, because let's say we appoint one of your payee or the person who's paying you as an agent. They will deduct this 1.5% and remit on your behalf. So you can have deductions from different people, but when we come to your income declaration, we want the income of you as a person. So it's the income from the Facebook, the income from the Instagram, the income from the YouTube put together versus your allowable expenditures, the ones that you've incurred to generate that income. We find your taxable profit, apply the rates of tax, get your tax due, and then you're able to reduce that tax due with the taxes that were deducted in the year.
Monica, what fulfillment do you derive from your job?
Okay, so I work in taxpayer services, and in taxpayer services we engage with taxpayers a lot through the education forums and through just having them ask questions. So I get fulfilled when I'm able to answer a taxpayer and they leave that forum feeling satisfied, feeling that they can engage with KRA, they don't need to fear, and that they know that their issues can be sorted out. And also when they feel that they understand the tax system that we have.
Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to add on that we've actually not talked about? So
I'd like to just encourage Kenyans to not fear KRA. We have transformed. Our goal right now is trust and facilitation, meaning that we want to engage with you, we want to talk to you, we want to help you pay your taxes, we want to understand where is the pain in our systems, where our services are causing you distress, and that with that feedback we are able to improve our services. So don't fear engaging with KRA. And one of the key things that I'd like to mention here is that when you get communication from KRA, maybe a defaulter notice, a demand of tax, respond to KRA and tell them, this is my actual picture. They might tell you you owe 10 million, but you know that's not the actual picture. Don't ignore that message, respond to it, provide the documents, and we'll be able to clear you in case that's what needs to happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Monica, for the opportunity, for the time you've actually spared. We've actually learned a lot, and I'm grateful. God bless you. To our esteemed viewers, I'm grateful that you've actually tuned in. And from me and my KRA representative, Miss Monica Githuba, I hope you've actually learned a lot. And I hope whatever she has enlightened us with, you're going to put into practice. Don't be afraid of KRA. They are not animals. Don't be afraid of paying your taxes. And as the KRA slogan says, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Kenya yasonga mbele, Kenya yasonga mbele.